Hey guys, this is 7-2, applying coordinate geometry. This lesson is a little bit different than what we've been doing because we're going to be using letters for side lengths and letters for coordinates rather than numbers. I'm going to just jump right in. So our first example is trying to figure out what the coordinates of the vertices are. And in this particular one, we have SQRE, that's a square, and SQ is equal to 2A. We know that the axes bisect each side. So that makes Q split up into two equal parts. These are congruent, and these are congruent. Now that's important to know because when we're trying to find where the coordinates are, knowing that those are all the same, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Now, the length of SQ is 2A, and because SQ is bisected, that makes each side A. So this is A, all the way around. Remember that it's a square, so each sides are congruent, and each side is bisected, so each portion has a distance of A. Now, when we're writing the coordinate of each, we need to keep in mind of the location of the point in the graph. So for example, Q is in the positive, so X's are positive, Y's are positive, whereas the E, X's are negative and Y's are negative. So when we write the ordered pair for, say, S is going to be a negative A, and then it's going to be a positive A. Q is going to be positive A, R is positive A, negative A, and then E is negative A, negative A. And again, the positives and negatives come from the location in the graph that the point was at. So to help you in case you need it, you can write this down in your notes. It might be helpful. This is positive, this is negative, negative, positive, negative. Okay, our next one is TRI, which is an isosceles triangle, and TI is 2A, and the y-axis is the median. So because the y-axis is a median, that makes this congruent to this. And what's going to end up happening there, just like the last question, 2A is going to be split up, so this is going to be A, and this is going to be A. Now, to get to R, the median, or this length right here, is not dependent on the distance of A, so we can just call it B, or C, or D, or any other letter other than A. That would be fine. Now again, we can go ahead and write the ordered pairs for each. Remember that the location is what we're looking for. And this time we're going to actually have zeros because some of them are, actually all of them are on the axis. So T is at negative A, 0, R is at 0B, and I is at A0. And again, that just came from using the information that we were given, isosceles triangle. TI was equal to 2A, which made TO and IO A each. They're both A. And then the y-axis was the median, and that helped us out as well. Okay, our next example says the diagram shows a general parallelogram with the vertex at the origin and one side along the x-axis. What are the coordinates of D, the point of intersection of the diagonals of parallelogram ABCO, and how do you know? So since it's a parallelogram, that means that the diagonals bisect each other. So if you think about what we talked about yesterday, we need to use the midpoint formula. Go ahead and write that down. We need to use the midpoint formula to figure out the actual point D. So if you don't remember, the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. So we're going to use this formula right here to find the point D, which in the picture, if you look, is right there. So we can either use C and A or we can use B and O. It really doesn't matter because the diagonals bisect each other, so the midpoint of each should be at the same point. So in this case, for x1, if I'm going to do AC, x1, let me do mid of, x1 is going to be 2b plus x2, which is 2a over 2, and then y1, 2c plus 0 over 2. Now, this is an algebra concept. We need to go ahead and simplify. So when we're simplifying, we have to think of what's in common on the top, what's in common on the bottom that can reduce. In this case, we've got a 2 on the top for both terms, so this is 2 times b plus a. This is a distributive property backwards, basically. And on the top, this just becomes 2c for the y's. Now, these 2's are going to cancel, and so are these. So, our final answer for the midpoint is b plus a, c. Okay, so that is it for this lesson, 7-2. Tomorrow in class, we'll work on 7-1 and finish that if we need, and then we'll work on 7-2. If you have any questions, come see me, shoot me a text on Remind 101, or ask in the beginning of class. Otherwise, have a good evening, and I'll see you guys later.